Hey everybody and welcome. Today I'm making a spread in this chunky art journal. I call it junk art journal because I've used mainly papers that would have gone in the bin because these are palette papers, under papers, leftover paint papers where I cleaned my brushes, some old papers from a book or such stuff. So I think it is okay to call it a junk art journal. I'm starting out with watercolors. I'm using the Myliang watercolors. It's the student grade palette from Paul Rubens, and it's a really nice palette. And I think if you don't have any watercolors and you want to start out, this is a good opportunity because it's not so expensive and the paints are really nice. I'm just plopping down the colors and I think I haven't covered the page with anything. I also don't really know what kind of papers these are, how thick they are. They look quite thin. I don't mind this. In this journal, I just want to experiment, play, and have fun with messy paints and mark making and whatever. I just experiment also with color palettes, and if something does go wrong, I don't mind. I just flip the page over and do another one. I really love to go with some gesso over watercolors because they will mix in a bit and it will give me a painterly look, and it also gives me a different texture. I'm just applying the white gesso with my fingers. Now I have a little bit too much gesso. I will just put it back into the bottle. I let the page completely dry and now I'm going in with some background stamping, and I'm laying a piece of foam underneath my page because the book is quite bulky and it's not so easy to stamp there, so that background foam is very useful. And I just stamped some random background images from our new Mix It Up number. Oh, it's the 5 or 6, I think it's the 5, Mix It Up 5 stamp set, but I will link all the sets I'm using in the description. I'm moving the foam piece to the left side and I will do also some stamping there. I also use a different color to stamp some images, and here I think the rusty brown from StazOn, just to bring in some more different colors in that texture layer. For my next layer, I decided to pull out my acrylic inks. Acrylic inks will be more intense once they are dry compared to watercolors. Watercolors always dry lighter when you use them on a normal paper, and the acrylic inks tend to not do that. I would say they maybe dry even darker, but they are just more vibrant. I'm going in with that. I think it's the burnt sienna. It's been a while that I made this page, so I can't not remember 100%, but that should be the transparent burnt sienna, which is one of my favorite colors. And I also love how it mixes with the blue. It gives such a lovely natural green. Next, I'm also adding some blue acrylic ink. It's, I think, the Prussian blue. It's a similar color to the one I have used with the watercolors. And as I said, it mixes very nice with the burnt sienna. And it also gives me a really interesting contrast. My page is dry and I have prepared some focal images, and I've used our Loose Floral stamps, and I stamped those to jelly prints. And I'm picking colors that are already on my page here, and I'm just thinking about where to arrange them, and then I will draw them a stamp. I always feel that flowers need something to sit on, and here I'm taking out my washi tape. It's my handmade washi tape, and I really love this for all kinds of background stuff, for collages, on artist trading cards, on greeting cards, or in my art journal. And here I'm just going through the colors and see what fits my page the best, and I think I'm going to use this pattern. It's quite simple but very pretty. And if you want to make your own washi tape, I will link up that video in the info card at the top right, so you can check that out. I'm going to adhere it as kind of a bottom border, maybe. I will move it a little bit upwards, not directly to the edge. And this is a gummed paper tape, and it just activates the glue when you go on top with a little bit of water, and then you can just use it like a simple washi tape or paper tape to glue things down. And I really love these washi tapes. They are so unique because they are made by yourself and very useful for all kinds of projects. I recently covered a paper box from my mobile phone with the washi tape, and now I use it as a storage tin for my tags. To separate that washi tape border a bit more from the page, I'm going to adhere also a small border of old book paper. I think that brings in more contrast and moves that border a bit more into the view, and it does not get lost on the page. And I also feel that this book page goes really nice with the colors. I'm now going to put the flowers in place and draw them a stem, and I'm using a water-soluble pencil for that. And I just dip in the nib of the pencil into water, and that gives me a really intense line. And of course you could also use an acrylic marker, for example, but I really like the texture you get with a watercolor pencil. Until my glue is dry, I put some clear blocks on the flowers. This one is already dry, and I pulled out some acrylic markers. These are the one from Ardex with the brush tip. I really love them. I use them a lot in my sketchbook, and also to add accents to jelly prints or to ephemera that I made with jelly prints. And here I color in the leaves in green, so the flower looks a bit more like a flower. I usually apply 2 layers of these acrylic markers because they are not as opaque as a Posca paint pen, but that's for the reason because of that brush tip, otherwise it would not flow. And I think I'm going to add a second layer with a lighter color to bring in a little bit more depth. I'm now going in with some mark making to bring in more textures and to have more fun, because that's one of the steps I really enjoy, making marks and textures here and there on an almost finished spread. And therefore I'm using a Posca paint pen because you can make really nice dots with them. And I really love dot patterns because you can make them so differently. You can make them closer together with different sizes, with all in the same size, far more apart from each other, or fading out. That's so interesting, and I really love that yellow on the page here. I'm also using a neo color for some mark making. I make some dashes on the page. It's a light blue color that matches my background. And this is all I'm doing to this page. I think It's quite lovely as it is, and what I'm going to do off camera is I want to add some words or a sentiment to the bottom underneath my border, and I will do this with words from our Mix a Sentiment stamp set. I'm going to cut some out and stick them down. I don't do this in front of the camera because it's not very interesting, but I'm going to share photos with you now, and here you can see what I have done. And you can also see some finished at the finished page in photos on my blog post. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I wish you a lovely weekend. Bye.